Uh, Card charged successfully. Nice. Oh. Excuse me. Isn't this like this way? Yeah. Alright, so picking up from last time, we are going to go and see what the loot is. The loot that Shamsi was trying to get. We're heading to Suzuki's apartment, or his room, whatever, where the loot is supposedly contained. So, we're gonna find out what's in it. Let's go. Alright, let's continue. Investigation Part 4, Mr. Natsume's room. 24th of February, 10:13 AM, Mr. Natsume's room. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you to uncover the secret hiding place in just one day. Wasn't supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? Hi, Rose. Gregsy's been happily munching an agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Hi, pal, you alright? Happily, I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. What's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's haul. What the? What is that? Choker, huh? It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar? A collar? It's huge though. Oh, we're gonna get into some Hounds of Baskerville shit, Ty. Oh, that could be interesting. And look at the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed the inside there? There are some dark stains. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. And of course, there's his emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown. Telling you how Hounds of Baskerville? What does it signify, do you think? Oh, I had noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know? Where could it have been? That's enough of that, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the colour has drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over, now! Wagwan. I've never seen a collar that large before. Burlock Bones, isn't there like a fucking movie or something? It's like a dog, and it's like Sherlock Bones. That has to exist, right? Hey Leo, you alright? That's my multi-million idea. They've done fucking Air Buds and all this shite. There's definitely a version where they're like a detective or something, aren't they? Employing homeless Waynes or something, huh? Taking opioids, huh? Well, like opium is what Sherlock Holmes takes, right? And all those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. But that's not what suited me the most, at least. Not once I'd noticed it. It's funny because I'm reading, like I said, I'm reading a study in Scarlet right now, the first Sherlock Holmes book, and one of the things Watson first observes about Sherlock Holmes is that he thinks, he looks like he's on some sort of opioids, but he couldn't possibly be. That's one of the things he notes about him. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains, could they really have been blood? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. Drugs are for bad people. Sherlock Holmes fucking kills a dog like 2 chapters ago. He's a fucking dodgy boy, hey? Yeah, they have this. There's like so the main like so the whole thing about studying Scarlet is they find this like American guy dead in this abandoned house, and when they start chasing down leads, so he has no visible wounds or anything, so Sherlock thinks he's been poisoned, and so they start chasing down leads, and one of the leads is his like partner or whatever, like the person who was traveling with him. And Lestrade finds him dead as well. And he had like pills on his nightstand. So Sherlock thinks that the pills are what killed them both. So Lestrade has the pills. So Sherlock takes the pills and he tells Watson that there's apparently like a dog that lives downstairs that's like really near death. It's like cloudy eyes and it's fucking on death's door apparently. So he tells Watson to go bring the dog up. And he takes one of the pills and he cuts it in half. And he dissolves it into some milk, some water, and some milk for the dog. They test the pill. And the dog eats it, or licks it up, and nothing happens. And Sherlock's like, oh, I was mistaken. And then he has the other half of the pill, and he's like, just to satiate my curiosity. So he does the same thing with the other pill. And, like, not a second after the dog licks it, the fucking dog just dies. And he's like, oh, guess I was right. What the fuck? I mean, he's kind of like sociopathic is kind of his whole thing. Like, he doesn't, he doesn't have a lot up here that's like social skills, or like general knowledge or whatever. He doesn't really care about a lot of stuff. So. Like, he doesn't know about the solar system. He doesn't know who the Queen is at the time, I think. He like, the whole, like, fantastical aspect of it is that he's dumped everything that he considers. He describes to Watson, he compares, like, the human brain to a loft, like an empty loft. And most people just fill it with whatever they want. And eventually, like, they can't fit anything else in. But he says, he describes his as, like, his is perfectly arranged and he only puts in things that he wants. So he doesn't know he doesn't know like modern literature or anything like that. So random things like that. But yeah, he's kind of like a sociopath. This case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume? The mystery of the knife in the mists and the mustached man and the convict's curse, perhaps. I can make it a 2-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yes, what is it, Hurley? Doesn't he ask her not to publish this one or something like that? I'm sorry. But you can't write about this case, yeah. It's out of the question. Yeah, I think we found out, like, yeah, so this is technically in the past, so I think we found out that he didn't want this one talked about. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your 2 titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Oh, yeah, about Olive being stabbed, not about this whole poisoning case. Yes. Bum 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 bum. Why is the soundtrack?
It was that the second of Soseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Voice acting.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand.
We get it every so often. Doesn't happen often, but it's cool when it does.
I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again.
Here we go again.
With an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Oh, that's right. They were talking about that in the last game, weren't they? That's what all like the kind of espionage stuff was about. Oh, we could have just done this at the end of fucking last stream. I thought it was gonna be much more. You're trying to figure out your own Ace Attorney crime? I'm sorry for baiting you last time, I apologize. I think like we've unintentionally like fallen into doing Ace Attorney like once a year. So I'm not going to plan it, but you'll probably find that we do Ace Attorney 1, like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, sometime in the last quarter of 2023. It's probably going to coincidentally fall like that. So yeah, there's the big Eiffel Tower looking job. Episode 3, The Return of the Great Departed Soul. Let's go! All the steampunk.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the great exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
Let's go! Did you see the wee machine that looked like a wee fish like this? Oh.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people.
Packed with people.
The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
New characters.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world.
You guys watch remind me of someone.
Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies. And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future.
They're like the blimps.
A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Oh, the big gun thing from the title screen.
A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of
Oh,
high voltage electricity.
the teleporter.
And beamed to another location.
That's not gonna go wrong.
Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series
Reassembled.
of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
Something Star Trek.
A few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air.
Where's he going?
To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
He has a twin, doesn't he? Fucking guy, huh? He's laughing like a Happy Tree Friends character. Uh-oh. God. He's got a funny voice. Oh, well. 22nd of October, 9:36 a.m. Sholmes' suite. Where's Iris? Is she alright? There she is. Reno! Reno, are you listening? Oh, sorry, what was that, Iris? What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper. It's full of news about the Great Expedition again. Ah, yes. Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? Uh-oh. Did you say something, Iris? He had like a depressive phase last game as well, didn't he? He's like really out of it. Oh gosh, you're even more down. Ah! Oh, when did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together. What? Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here. You know, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced therefore that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh, well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Was he banned from court at the end of the first game? Can't remember. It's been a year, huh? Don't you agree, Hurley? Nope. Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. Man, just having a day. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, when the Great Exhibition is opened. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go to see it together? I want to, of course I do, but I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from, is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. What's going on, Sholmes? Talk to me, my friend. Let's go. The event's 6 months ago. Okay. Probably recapping the first game or whatever happened at the end of it that I can't remember. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. That was Gina's defense, right? What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. Yep, it had the Jojo-looking guy. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable, yet at the same time, unforgivable mistake. What the fuck? What do we do? Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. It's been a while. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study. So that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Runo? Reading all those big, fat tomes about British law up in your room? And the notes about Sholmes' old cases? Brewing Irish's special blends of tea? Fetching my daily bread for me? You become something of a manservant around here. Start on the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Oh yeah, the big fucking brick shithouse of a guy from the first game. Lord Strongheart? Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favourite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could. And I can't do that just sitting around here. What the fuck did we do in that trial that we got banned from? I can't remember. We didn't... Did we forge evidence or something? Like, nah, what the fuck did we... Ah, I can't remember. Do we withhold evidence? I mean, Gina was lying a lot in that trial because she'd been, like, threatened or paid off by Magnus McGilded. We're just not really a lawyer, I think. I think now there's something happened that... Is it that they found out about us or something like that? I feel like they knew that already. Let's see what Google says, huh? Why did Ryunosuke get banned from... Why was Ryunosuke banned from court? They believe he leaked the government secrets. That's what it was. They believe he leaked government secrets, and they believed he was involved in forgery. There was all the espionage stuff at the end of the last game. Oh. Great exhibition. Didn't we lie about being our dead friend? No, I don't think we pretended to be Kazmadon. Our name was pretty out there. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching. Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on... Do you mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge. Yep. I suppose they might be. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the great exhibition. Iris is a menace, which is great. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. Great Exhibition newspaper, a newspaper containing various articles about the world-leading science and technology on show at the Great Exhibition being held in London. Shadows cast behind? Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? What's on the back page? Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before too long. First test of matter transport device. Here, there's that guy. Anything else on the front here? The Reaper attacked? Huh? So many glowing reports about the great exhibition and everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy looking one that is. Wait, what? What's the matter, Reno? The Reaper attacked? That's Lord Van Zieks. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Jesus. What about the lost cat? Something about St. Bartholomew's. Lord Van Zieks and compatriot cornered. Got a pal. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zieks was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes. Prosecutor Barak Van Zieks. They say that the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case. There's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. When Magnus McGill did fucking burnt alive in the middle of the courtroom, huh? Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. Ace Attorney character design is just so good. The characters are just fantastic. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal or a trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. Mind the guy in the first game who had like a baby or something, huh? As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zieks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time? He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seemed that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness, is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth will I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zieks and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition. Oh shit. Is Van Zieks dead? Ah, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But, who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? I assume Lord Van Zieks is alright. He's a dick, but he's a fun character. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add. That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. You're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean, Iris? Well, usually, the more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please, you mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes. Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. Ah. That was a deep sigh. Are you heading to the fair to see what the fuck happened? Oh, you geared up. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you'll be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but Now I'm wondering where you're going. Ha 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 ha. Well then, see you later indeed. Bye. For about 5 minutes. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. She's going to Disney! Alright then, Runo, let's get going. Oh, Iris. What are you wearing? You're so cute. I got changed to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then. Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition. I love Iris's theme. This is really fun. New location has been added. We got the legal consultancy, we got the op suite, and we got Lord Chief Justice's office. The office of Lord Chief Justice Strongheart in Britain's great capital city, London. Its grand stone architecture and the echoey tick of the vast cogwheels lend it an air of authority. That's right, there's all like clocks and everything everywhere in there. I can't remember what voice we give Strongheart. We'll get a new voice from this game. I think this is where he spoke to Susato. And he told her to go back to Japan, I think, in the first game. 2nd of October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change. Like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. She's so cute. It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. Yeah, it's when I told Susato. Yeah. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. I remember some things. You know, there's some things that still stick. Ah. I understand that you wish to speak with me. There he is. Oh, look, Lord Strongheart. I trust you've been keeping well. Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mail Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, this is Reinhardt's brother. In the distant past. Yeah. Yeah, Strongheart. Yeah, Strongheart's from the first game. Yeah. Nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind as it happens. Runo, just take a deep breath and come out with it. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in a court as a lawyer was revoked, and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, It made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Ah, here comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you're a substitute for your compatriots. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on this study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. The Kazuma theme. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asuki is my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? That's right, wasn't there some implication at the end of the first game that there was, like, something more going on? Like, there was, like, a conspiracy or something? There was definitely something at the end of the very first game. The first Great Ace Attorney. There was, like, something brewing under the surface, like, so... But there's only 2 of these games. There's not a third Great Ace Attorney game, so fucking hopefully, like, everything gets wrapped up. Because the second one came out, like, a while ago on 3DS. And they haven't done any more of this era, so... The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Renault. We're back in, boys, let's go. In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course, please tell me more. Curious affair. You described it as a curious affair? Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think? Instantaneous kinesis, as in moving things with a click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A dash of devil may care. Whatever the serious accident was exactly, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odiasman. What's the pun? Odiasman? Or like Odias man or something like that. An investor and well-known figure in society. A large explosion. Maybe it'll come to us the more we say it or something like that. Because Olive's fiance wasn't like a pun or anything, was it? I don't think so. A man died? The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert... Harebrained. He was detained immediately after the incident, and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder. What? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. Sounded very British for a German man. No, the guy who died was German. The other guy was English. Right? I think that's what they said. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still. We should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German... Oh no, the professor is German. Okay. You're right. Definitely. Ah, yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Van Zieks? Hi. Forensic Science Symposium. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigations need to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. Ah! London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible. Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing. Ah! Wait, say policing. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly, it's extremely alarming. Ah! Harris keeps jumping whenever the birds come out. Or whenever he shouts. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology to keep you from waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. What? Oh, how fascinating. Don't get him started, Iris. It all began 15 years ago. I was... Oh, what are you saying? Huh? I was fading back in. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. In the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission. Oh, right, yes. That's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris is back reading again. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. She fucking abandoned me. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Can we present him with the paper or something? Oh, that reminds me, have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? You're talking about the Van Zieks, right? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zieks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. Iris is very cute, yeah. Van Zieks' condition. So is he not going to be the prosecutor then? Are we going to get another prosecutor? That could be interesting. I mean, I love Van Zieks, but the prosecutor's always great fun, so... Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Oh, nope. He's coming back. He's fine. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked, though? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Zieks. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money? A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, he died. The man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely? The victim's henchmen certainly seem to think so. He was a man by the name of Asmon, Mr. Odie Asmon. Oh, he was the guy who got teleported. The victim in this case, right? Did you say Asmon? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition. So what was he on trial for then? Yes, publicly known as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Oh. Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still. Something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the ways so many people have died, if not by someone's hand? Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours? 11 hours late? That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. The whole gag is that he has fucking clocks everywhere and he's always like massively late for everything in it. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where will I find Lord Van Zieks now? Is he in the hospital? I would assume he's at his office. Oh, I get to go see his place of being, huh? Big fucking Japanese flag with like knife on it or something like that, huh? Right, I'll go and ask him about the attacking person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrained defense entirely in your hands. Oh, of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. New location been added. So there's the prison and the prosecutor's office is a full pool of wine. I mean, it's the first time we're ever going to see it, so let's go. Just like something you see from what we in the shadows. Like a little model. Oh, he has lots of wine. 22nd of October, prosecutor's office. Look at the big gaudy. Oh, you can't see it. You got a big like gaudy painting as well here. No. A big like Napoleon style painting. Oh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office? Yes, it appears so. Bro, it sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Where's the big coffin? He's just gonna rise up like... Oh, is that... What's he doing? The hooded figure was so still I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. What are you doing here? Ah! No, Van Zieks. There he is. He's out from behind his table? Where his prosecutors stand? This looks very unnatural. He's as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. He has a body. To be fair, he shows most of it from behind the stall. He fucking puts his legs up on the thing and everything. I am. So, who's the person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh. That's my apprentice. And he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know he had an apprentice. Probably the person from the newspaper article, right? The one with the mask. Yeah. Must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. He's very able in combat. A requisite skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming, that is, such a fabled fiend genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Last night's attack. Lord Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by henchmen of Odi Asmon's criminal organization. The investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hoped to kill me before that happened. Odi Asmon. He's always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhand means, via his criminal activities. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in a court, didn't he? Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper. But the man got his comeuppance in the end. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances. It was a most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was super high voltage and instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asmon died when the demonstration on the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like that to happen, do you? Well, no, that does seem a little far-fetched. If this man really is the fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death, at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Runo? I mean, what was you taking on the Professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh, yes, that's right. Well, I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Eh? Not clickbait. Albert. Albert Harebrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... What? So, does that mean... Oh, not... Okay. Part of the full title. So does that mean Van Zieks can't be the prosecutor in this case then because he was involved, or... I don't know. Your contemporary. The little policeman on the desk. Right there. T. I'd understood that Professor Harebrain was from Germany, though. Harebrain's from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research, that's all. Oh, it's still there, don't worry. So you were students together. I was in the Faculty of Law, of course, and he in Science. So our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along. Though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you of all people representing him. Ah, only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know. Because the prosecution will be handled by me. Ah! I like we get more Van Zieks, but it's kind of like, maybe we'll get a new prosecutor at the end. By you? But you made it sound as if you and the professor have been friends. We are friends, true. Then why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. What's Lord Van Zieks thinking? The Reaper's identity. What do you mean by what you said before? If you'd like to know the Reaper's true identity, does that mean... I'm a crown prosecutor and immortal like any other. And no demigod. I'm not a Castlevania character. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended in a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who without question deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. And Gina's pretty cool too. There you go. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she's ever so hard working now. I wonder where she's at. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have taken a turn. But the point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Well, Lord Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way. But you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. I guess they're just afraid. They're afraid of the curse, or afraid of the Reaper coming for them. Oh. It would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful for their lives. Do you mean to say... I mean to say that if my pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopt it gladly and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that is my fate, let God decide. Lord Van Zieks. Man's intense. Can we present them with the paper, maybe? Lord Van Zieks, about the article in this paper. Ah, yes. It seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he's my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about him? My young apprentice. He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Reno. I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. He's currently compiling a report about last night's attack. Looks like he's wearing some kind of mask. On Lord Strongheart's orders. Nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. But why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders again. He's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Oh. Huh. The task is complete. Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. Nice to meet you. Ah, the bats. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed, and yet somehow it didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Strongheart has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my apprentice anyway? Oh no, I mean... Sorry, I didn't mean to... The way he stood there so casually, yet with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. Ah, yes. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh? What's that? That Nipponese man. Is he faring well? Oh, Suzuki. Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop and the mustache. And the jitters. He'll be back in Japan at the stage, right? If we're caught up in the timeline. Ah, Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find out you identified him from that list, Runo. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's little time left before tomorrow's trial. I advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice, and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Suzuki-san. After a Nipponese. Van Ziek's redemption arc, let's go. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn up for the books. Mad scientist. Ah, you mean Professor Harebrain? Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lord Van Zieks, I think. Chessboard as well. Lord Van Zieks' desk, look, it's so stylish. That's a marble chess set beside it. Chess. That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh, really? You'd probably like chess problems in that case. I'd love to challenge Lord Van Zieks sometime. To about shogi problems. If you only really want to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own at home. Also, you got all the wine. Look at that fine collection of hallowed chalices and bottles neatly lined up there. My hallowed bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes from the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee these chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And he fucking smashes like 10 of them every case. And yet you threw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because this imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark sometimes. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans who work you to file. So, it's my fault? Silly me. How could I ever have thought otherwise? The model. Oh, it's of the fair, isn't it? Oh, look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showground. And Crystal Tower there. Oh. That's probably France, isn't it? It kind of looks... It could be Ireland, but it's like, I don't know. Oh, no. That's France. Is this us? Is that us there? That's Italy. That could be us there, mate. Yeah, I think it has to be Ireland, right? This one. What's the one on the left tower? This one? Or this one? You finished the first game? Let's go! There's, in the DS version of, it's Germany, isn't it? And, the red white one? What? Big one? What? This one? This one? See the last case you did, Feral. So the first Ace Attorney was originally on Game Boy Advance, and when they added it to, when they ported it to DS, they added a brand new case. I assume it's in the remastered version. Let me just double check. Let's see. Was the last one you did, Feral, called... Let me see. Rise from the Ashes. Was that one there? Okay. The one with the girl with the glasses, with Emma. That one. Yeah, that was added to the DS version of the game. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to know it's in the bloody vase. I just saw on the wiki there, it's one of the longest cases in the series to date. I think it's second longest, I think. I think Emma is in the series going forward as well, so I'm looking forward to playing it again. What colors are on that flag? It's like black, green, black, yellow, and red, I think. No, that's not German. German's not that, right? German is like black, red, yellow then, right? Your brain was fried. That's black, yellow, red. No, it's not Spain. Oh. I mean, the flag of Belgium is those colors, but they're not horizontal, they're vertical. Like that's Belgium. No. It's flipped. The black is on the left. I don't know what that is. All I know is that's probably Azerbai's. Oh, I'm just giving you a tease, by the way. I know Charlie isn't here. We're probably going to do Halo 2 by the end of the year. That's for Charlie. He comes in every time. We got a new game slot, like hoping it's Halo, and it never is. We're going to do Halo 2 by the end of the year. That's a good emote there, Farrell. I love that one now. Irish and nothing, huh? That's good. Amazing. I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person? Or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it as an investigative aid. Ah! You Nipponese have no business painting others as overly reserved. Oh, I really didn't think he'd overheard that. The painting. That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? Sheesh. Nice painting. Very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job of capturing Lord Van Zeek's facial features. About to act up, huh? Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his subject's handsomeness, I think. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. I said it looked like Napoleon, didn't I? I know it's not exactly a deep pull, like, but... How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. Oh. Sorry, it's not him. You're fine. Oh, then... Who is it? Like his dad or something? Alright. The bats. Ah! Ah! There are bats. Yes. The Reaper's familiars, I expect. But what about the mute man in the dark cloak? I thought he was the familiar. He's not the flying kind. He must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper, then. I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary, though, either way. It's all the barrels. Look at all those ancient casks lining the wall there. That all the wine. Cask in the Reaper's chamber? Or are they caskets? You don't think. All those people who escaped conviction in court are lying inside them. Dead, do you? What ridiculous notions are going through your head, man? This is my collection of fine vintages. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you for clearing that up. Runa, we're out amusing to ourselves. Don't mind us, Mr. Reaper. I wouldn't if you hadn't invited yourselves to my office to talk nonsense within my earshot. Mysterious man. It really looks like a punishment to me. I've never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Yes, he has. He stood up. What do you mean? Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Runo, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead. Coral Island? On Coral Island we will be. I think it's time to leave. Let's go meet our German professor, huh? And I'm going to completely insult my girlfriend's nationality, huh? (22nd October). Local prison, cell 11. The warden said cell 11. This is the one. That's the one. Sorry. That's this one. Oh, there's someone curled up in a ball in the back corner. Look. What's his name again? Professor Albert Harebrain, wasn't it? Excuse me? Professor Harebrain? Oh no. I can't even picture it in my mind now. Oh, Noodle, he's using the black, white, and red tie this fucking badge. Oh, he's in baller, huh? Is that like an old version of the flag or something? What's wrong with it? Is it like... Is it the dodgy one? You have to remember, Noodle, this game takes place many centuries ago. Flag of the German Empire. It's still fantasy. Yeah, but it's historical fantasy, you know. How long was it then? How long was it? 1867. Jeez. 1867 until 1919. Damn. Very bad connotation. Yeah, I can tell that now. Yep. It's associated with the Neo boys now, I see. Yep. Who are you? It sounded a lawyer. Ah! That's something I said. I can't do it, huh? Rex Burger, huh? Nerds! Oh. Would you be here about the experiment? Are you going to defend my hypothesis? I can't do it, huh? Don't know what the fuck I'm doing, huh? Your hypothesis? Sorry, I don't. Yesterday's demonstration. That magnificent demonstration was. It was an out-and-out success by anyone's calculations. I don't know. I'm trying, but nothing's coming out. But despite that, no one listens. No lawyer believes in the science. When it's explained, they all leave at high velocity. There's lots of Z's and V's. That's all you're getting, huh? Ha! Now, it's probably not a good time to mention that your zeal made me my concentration leave for a while too. It's like a thing popped up here. I think Blind Mib's She-Hulk reactions up for today. Yeah, that watched after stream sometime later today. Something's coming out though. Yesterday's demonstration. You mentioned the demonstration yesterday. The papers have called it a spectacular failure. After all, a man died in the explosion, didn't he? Ah! Yes, you could interpret the results that way if you really wanted to. Well, I suppose in the strictest sense. The experiment was a failure, but at the same time, it was a great success. You've lost me. I saw it with my own eyes. Right there in front of me, Mr. Aspen was spontaneously disassembled. Until then, everything was going exactly as my calculations had predicted. At that point, He should have been beamed to the crystal tower by instantaneous kinesis. However, the machine exploded. Mr. Aspen, in fact, perished. Yes, I can't deny that part of the experiment was a failure. So what you're really saying is the large explosion that killed Mr. Aspen was an accident, correct? But the bigwigs had you arrested on suspicion of murder. I was responsible for a man's death. That is the immutable truth here. And for that, I wish to be punished at once. But... Murder? Never in a million years. It was an accident. Simply an accident. I see. Hurley and I were talking this morning, you know. He said the situation would change completely depending on whether it was treated as an accident or a murder. Oh, exactly. Well, if it really was an accident, then the professor's machine would be kept in protective custody. On what grounds? Ah, yes. It's newly established here in Britain. The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. That won't pass me by. But if the case is treated as murder, then they'll say my machine was the murder weapon, and they'll be able to pour over it as much as they like. If they examine it in detail, they'll find out how it's made, and then they'll be able to copy my idea. My precious hypothesis will be stolen. The machine must be protected from that at all costs. That's why it's imperative this whole incident is shown to have been an accident in tomorrow's trial. Ah, I see now. People who don't believe in Germany being a federal republic now, conspiracy theorists, mostly far right, also the colours used in the Third Reich, so only a slightly different flag. Makes sense. Who's pinging me? Mid-moon. Instantaneous kinesis. So in short, there was a terrible accident at the Great Exhibition Showground yesterday. Yes! Or rather, no. The devil is in the details. Strictly speaking, there was a terrible explosion. Sounds the same to me. You were demonstrating super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, weren't you? How fascinating. Humans, like all matter, are made up of particles that are held together by electrical bonds. So it must be possible, using a sufficiently high voltage, to break those bonds and beam the particles through space. That's it in a nutshell. That's my idea, you see. That's my amazing hypothesis. Gosh, that's unimaginably high-level science. Oh, but dare to imagine it. Dare to dream of such incredible technology. Just think. One moment I could be here in the cell, and the next, I could be at the Great Expedition again. Exhibition, not expedition. Well, yes, that would be incredible. And the next, in a mere blink of an eye, I could be at a great Parisian theatre, say. The possibilities are endless. The whole of our vast planet will be within reach. So no more hiding in wardrobes on rocky seas for 50 days. I don't really see it like that. What do you mean, Iris? Well, if you could travel anywhere in the world instantly, the planet wouldn't really seem vast anymore, would it? I think it would feel like it had shrunk. My word, that's exactly right. But what are the implications? What does this mean? Oops. That's got Professor Bunnybrain really worried by the look of it. Clearly this is yet another case of just because you can, doesn't mean you should, I suppose. The point is, my calculations are flawless, the science works. But without a practical demonstration, it means nothing. And that's always the fly in the ointment. Because practical demonstrations cost a lot of money. Money that young scientists like you don't have. That's exactly it, yes. Hurley's always complaining about it. He says the government should invest more in science. I like this guy. He's fun. Well, anyway, I bumped into him at the right time. I met the well-known investor, Mr. Asman. The victim who died in yesterday's terrible accident, you mean? Ooh, the victim. The full name of the man who died in yesterday's accident was Mr. Odie Asman, wasn't it? What exactly was your relationship with the man? He first visited me in my laboratory in Germany a year ago now. He said he wanted to invest in my immaculate hypothesis. I thanked my lucky stars. I see, so you hadn't really known each other until then. Money for scientific research. I'm so envious. Well, for Iris. I love her little, like, Minnie Mouse ear get up. It's so cute. As far as I was concerned, the man was an angel. Oh, really? An archangel, even. He was prepared to fund a practical demonstration of my hypothesis for a presentation of the Great Exhibition. And if that went well, I could expect additional financial support for my research from the British government. Mr. Aspen provided me with the money and an exceptional engineer. He produced a machine to my precise specifications. But then, your dreams were blown to dust in one enormous explosion. Very like... As you can see, I owed everything to Mr. Aspen. I would never, ever have thought of taking the man's life. Well, he seemed genuine enough. I don't think he's lying. Hey, Charlie. Rename you as in Better TTB again. How you doing today, boss? Mr. Aspan. I thought I was making that joke earlier, but I just laughed it out. Oh, I know you weren't here earlier, Charlie, and I was kind of like trying to keep it a wee sneaky hush hush. I don't know when. There's still a few months. But I'm going to try my best to play Halo 2 by the end of the year. There's your little bit of grubbins for the day. The Reaper's varsity years. I understand Lord Van Zieks is a friend of yours from your university days. Yes, that's right. He was studying law whilst I was studying science. What was he like back then? A good question. Unassuming, gentlemanly, and all-round nice fellow, really. Sorry, I think you misheard me. I'm talking about the cold-hearted, merciless prosecutor Barak Van Zieks. What was he like when he was at university? Talk about a leading question, Reno. As I said, an unassuming and extremely pleasant gentleman. After all, he is the little darling of the Van Zieks family with all its great aristocratic origins. I didn't realize he had quite such noble blood. Little darling. It was a bit of a shock when I came back to Britain and learned what he'd become. The Reaper of Zebeli, no less. Yes, that's right. I did hear, though, that there was a very big event in his life that completely changed him after graduation. Something that happened involving someone from Japan or the Japanese government or something. Really? What sort of event? Ah! I'm sorry, but I don't know anymore. I wasn't in the country at the time. I was in Germany already. Oh, yes, of course. If he's heard all about the Reaper, I really don't have the heart to tell him that Lord Van Zieks will be the prosecutor in court tomorrow. Pain per man, so. Go see his friend again. He's gonna be trying to fucking put him in jail. So, Professor, let me just make absolutely sure I've understood you properly. The huge explosion that occurred yesterday, that was an accident, you're saying? You had no intent to harm the victim, who was in fact the sole investor in your work. Is that correct? As correct as 2 squared is 4. I swear it. Yes, it's true that the man perished in a machine of my invention. So I know that I'm far from blameless in all this, but still. I would never use my discoveries, my inventions, to take a person's life. Not in a centillion years. I'm a man of science, it's all I know. You have to believe me, please. Do you believe me? Do you believe in my hypothesis? Science is the pursuit of truth, you know. I've always believed that, all my life. He looks like a Pokemon, Professor. I think that's where I'm placing him. I'm afraid I don't know much about science, or your theories. But I do believe you, and I will fight to prove your innocence with all my might. I'm a man of the law, it's all I know. You have to believe me, please. Dudley, he looks like he would give you your first Pokemon. He looks a little bit like Professor Elm from Johto. Like Professor Elm, but blonde with big hair. Then I went to live in Germany after I graduated. I learned something very important. Nationality, class, lineage. None of that matters. As long as you try your hardest, you can achieve anything. Thank you for that, Professor. And thank you in advance for defending me tomorrow in court. Alright, Reno, it's time. Time to visit the Great Expedition. Fucking did it again, hey. Exhibition. Sorry? Well, that's where the incident happened, isn't it? Being stuck up. Yes, I suppose that's true. Time to investigate at last. Time to go meet some more wacky cookie characters, huh? Let's go. Please be some like loads of new characters. I love like all the characters. Like anytime we get new characters is always great. I said exhibition twice. Did I not say expedition once? Oh, okay. The experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition and the scene of the crime. Let's go. New characters, let's go. Fucking Gregson's gonna be there. Sholmes is gonna be there. What the fuck is that? That looks like a giant crossbow. 22nd of October, the Great Exhibition grounds, foot of the Crystal Tower. Ah, the showgrounds are a little too big for my liking. We've been walking around in dense crowds for 2 hours now, and I felt myself swooning 3 times. There are a lot of people, aren't there? I've almost been trodden on 3 times too. Nice having like Iris as like our companion for this one. Be careful, won't you, Iris? Don't let go of my hand. We had Susato during the last one because it was in the past. And then Susato had her dad in the first one, so... We finally made it through the throngs, though, by the look of it. Here we are, underneath the public experimentation stage where the explosion happened yesterday. Copper's up there. Oh. Who's talking? What's that? I can hear voices from up on the stage. Sounds like an argument. About Gregson and Sholmes, isn't it? Jenny! Right. I've had it with you this time. I'm warning you. I'll arrest you in a minute. Oh yeah? Go on then, Spectre. Give it a shot. You ain't got no evidence and you know it. Wait. I know those voices. You got a cheeky little mouth on you, young lady. But night in the cells will teach you some manners. Just try, I dare ya. If you want that bag of chips rammed down your throat. Oh, it's nice seeing Jenny again. Yoo-hoo, Gregsy. What are you doing up there? Ah! Ah! It's you, here. You're here. Here you are, you, here. Your ladyship. That's right. He's all cutesy with Iris. That's right. I forgot about that. How are you, your ladyship? I do hope you're well, your ladyship. They make her 3 times a lady. I'm not well at all. It's far too busy everywhere. I wanted to ride in a balloon, but there was a 3-hour queue. Unbelievable. I'll go and have a word for you at once, your ladyship. You'll be flying as high as a kite in no time once I pull some strings for you. Tobias Gregson, an inspector at Scotland Yard. Until recently, he was suspended from duty, but it would appear he's back in action now. That's right, like, in the most, like, present tense, Gregson was involved in the fucking, like, espionage stuff. He was, like, covering up stuff for the British government. In the last trial of the previous game. He's actually quite well known, appearing as he does in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. This should have fucking gave it away that he was a character in the fucking original books, but I just, like, just didn't clock, initially. And for that reason, he can't say a word wrong to the story's author, Iris. That's right, because he doesn't want to come across bad in the books. But there are limits, surely, or there should be. I think Iris also pays him. Watch it, sunshine. Sorry. What gives then? Don't tell me you're on this case. Yes, I'm acting for the defense. So we're here to investigate. Dear me, that's the situation, is it? What the fuck's he got? Is that his wallet and his hat, or is it like his notebook? I think it's his notebook, isn't it? Is it really that troubling? I'm easy 5 bob, is that all you got? Jenny! You're a lawyer, ain't ya? You could stand to carry a bit more copper around your pockets, Mr. Narrow Odo. What? Hey, that's my last bit of spending money, that is. You can have it back, but I'll have to charge you for all the bother. 3 bob. Gina Lestrade. This is Gina Lestrade, a pickpocket, or diver, born and bred in the East End of London. In the case that led to my own suspension 6 months ago. This is the young girl I was defending in court. What's your problem, Odo? Diver? Pickpocket? What's all the name calling? You want a bag of chips rammed down your throat and all, do you? I thought you were proud to be a diver, Gina. You were just arguing with Inspector Gregson about it, weren't you? I assumed you've been up to your usual tricks here at the showground. That ain't no way to talk to a lady, Odo. Half a year's a long time. People can change. I'm an apprentice now. Learn to be a Scotland Yard detective. So she's going to become Lestrade. Inspector Lestrade! Yeah, there we go! There it is. So you have to come with everyone else does now. It's Inspector Lestrade. Inspector? That badge is homemade, surely. The Inspector part isn't entirely accurate. No one calls her that. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. What's that supposed to mean? Right, well. I'll be back up top. You hold the fort here, alright? It's like these two that are like bickering all the time in the books. Like they're the two cops that are always involved. They both can't stand each other. And they're always trying to one-up each other as well. So it's fun now having the dynamic between them. At least this version of them. You hold the fort down here, alright? Right, sir. This raises a lot of questions. Hey, Ginny. It was 8 months ago now that I first encountered Gina, in connection with the case I was working on. At the time, she was living in the East End with a group of other orphans. She helped all of them survive by pickpocketing, but then she got embroiled in a murder with Magnus McGilded. I had a lot of time to think in prison. I realized I couldn't go on like I was. The dive weren't working out. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it, Ginny. Well done. So, you went from being a pickpocket to a detective? You got it. Good, innit? Inspector Lestrade. Sounds like something out of a book, eh? Talk about a sea change. Then there's Iris's old man to think about. Iris's father, you mean? Yeah. I promised her, didn't I? I said I'd get all the police forces around the world to pull out all the stops looking for him. He's the one that died in the very start of the first game, too. The one that the lady with the big swan hat killed. Just a small promise then. Nothing serious. Oh, Ginny, you're so sweet. So anyway, that's how I come. That's how come I had to go at the test for Scotland Yard. Only trouble is, I don't read so well, do I? Just a small problem. Nothing serious. And that's when Hurley approached Gregsy and asked for help. So the inspector said he'd take full responsibility for Ginny and made her a sort of apprentice. That was very magnanimous of Inspector Gregson, and brave. Well, you know Hurley. He enjoys finding ways to make people do what he wants. A great detective likes digging for dirt, in other words. So, the long and short of it is, if you've got questions about the case, you can ask Inspector Lestrade. Right then, Inspector. Actually, there's still a big mystery surrounding Gina, isn't there? Oh, what, Bruno, what? Well, 6 months ago, Gina was the defendant in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper. But Gina is still alive. A trial in which she was found not guilty, and yet, here she is still... Come on, you're not still on about that, are you? The Legend of the Reaper or whatever it's called? Core, you don't half worry, Odo. If I didn't half worry, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of you left. That's why Ginny was very resigned to her fate in that one. She didn't want to be defended or anything. Like I told you before, innit? The Reaper's kind of like him upstairs. So he knows what I'm like on the inside. That I ain't really done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong might be stretching a point. What about Mr. Natsume in Japan? He's perfectly fine, isn't he? Well, that's true. Perhaps the Reaper is more discerning than I thought. Exactly, so I ain't worried. I'm totally fine. Don't kill Ginny, game, please. Keep saying Ginny. Gina. Ginny's is what Iris calls her. Yesterday's incident. Cora was out of this world, it was. The brainy bloke pulled a bunch of levers on his machine and suddenly it started billowing smoke. Then it just went pop. I ain't seen a better experiment here yet. Sorry? You mean, you saw it, Ginny? With your own eyes? Yeah, of course. The boss is in charge here, ain't he? Of keeping everything running smooth, I mean. Yeah, Jenny's very cute. Fuck, did it again. Gina. Iris, get out of my head. The boss being Inspector Gregson, I suppose. That's going to take some getting used to. So all I have to say is that I'm on duty, and I can do whatever I want to. Get this. I was up in one of them flying balloons when it happened, watching it from above. No, you're so lucky, Ginny. Maybe I should join Scotland Yard too. Yeah, do it. You know how to put the boss in his place already, right, Iris? You'd have no trouble at all. No problem at all. Then it's settled. When do I start? No. You can't join Scotland Yard, Iris. We'll see. Anyway, what I don't understand is this. If the machine exploded so spectacularly, how can Professor Bunnybrain still be claiming that his experiment was a success? Oh, right. Well, it was a success, in a way. Did they teleport the body somewhere else, maybe? Maybe they found the body in the tower. That's what I'm guessing, right? That's why there's like a hole in the tower. It probably teleported him, but also killed him. It was? How can it have been? Surely after the whole machine blew up, no one could call the experiment a success. So like I said, it did sort of work. I mean, yeah, there was a load of smoke in that whopping great bang. But where do you think they found the victim's body, eh? In the Crystal Tower over there. What? In the tower? See? You can see for yourself, can't you? Up there above the scaffold. Oh. Were all the glasses broken, you mean? Yeah. The cage what the victim got in to start with really did get beamed through the air or whatever and landed all the way over there. So, you see? It did kind of work, didn't it? What? I don't believe it. I mean, I don't get the ins and outs of it, but anything's possible, right? With science. Oh, I tell you what, you can have this. It's a plan of the experiment they drew up at the yard. Are you sure? Yeah, go on. I had 3 bob off you before, so fair's fair. Yes, I didn't actually give that to you, did I? The sketch of the experiment has been added to the court record. A diagram showing the relative positions of the Crystal Tower and Professor Harebrain's machine that exploded. Okay. About the investigation. Something Inspector Gregson said before seemed a little strange. For what it's worth, anyway. Investigating is off the cards for all of us. Yeah, snotty old Greggs. He ran off after that without explaining himself. So far, this adventure, we've only had one new character, and it's Professor Harebrain. So, and the masked guy as well. But one new character to interact with. But we're gonna get that on like the witnesses and the jury and stuff like that, so we're gonna be fine. Yeah, it's not the old Greggs. He ran off after that without explaining himself. Alright, that. The boss said no one's allowed to investigate that weird machine what blew up yesterday. That's not fair. We're representing the defendant. In that case, could you at least tell us that you've learned from what you've learned from your investigations? Nah, you're not getting it. We ain't allowed to investigate neither. Why? What did the boss call them again? The forensic investigation team, I think. Anyway, apart from them lot, no one's allowed to lay a finger on the scene. Bit funny, innit? So even Scotland Yard's own detectives can investigate. Yes, I've never heard something like that before. I thought I could have a gander on the quiet though, but the boss caught me at it. You probably heard him give me an earful about it before from down here, didn't you? It's not bleeding fair. I think you were giving him as much of an earful back as I remember it. Yeah, well, sometimes I think it's all them chips what make him so stubborn. You say something to him, Odo. Go on. See if you can get through to him. He's up on the platform above us, is he? Where the machine exploded, that is. We can try, can't we, Bruno? Gregsy will listen to us. We can try. Probably just like... These stairs obviously lead to the stage above. We should go up there and investigate the exact spot where the experiment was being conducted. Let's go. Ooh. 22nd of October. The Great Exhibition. Grounds. Experimentation stage. Is it just Gregson up here? So that's it, is it? The machine that blew up? Oh, it must have been a magnificent explosion. And I've seen my fair share. Yeah, William and Turner over here. You seen things like this before, you mean? Of course. Hurley's always doing experiments that end in a bang. In fact, in his own words, explosions are the very essence of chemistry. Ah, that might explain the smell of burning that frequently comes wafting up the stairs. One time he made something that exploded with such force it took the roof off the building. I wish you'd been there to see it, Bruno. Bishopville, yeah. Bishopville's, dad? Right? William Turner. That's a Stellan Skarsgård as well, wasn't it? It's hard to get too excited about that, given that I now live in the roof. Suppose they're both Bill, right? Well, anyway, that's enough about that. Time to investigate. Where's Gregson? There he is. Both Williams, yep. Ah, look. Inspector Gregson's over there. He seems to be deep in thought about something, whilst eyeing up the machine carefully. Really? He just looks confused to me. Love me some Pirates of the Caribbean. Even the silly later ones. I suppose they're all silly at the end of the day. It ripped itself apart magnificently, didn't it? Magnificently and mercilessly. So someone stands in the middle of the machine to be disassembled and then beamed through the air? Yes, beamed. Not blasted. That's the point. Yes, that part's crucial, really. Is something like that even possible, though, Iris? Oh, Reno, I'm just a child. How should I know? You little cheeky blighter. A child when it suits you mean? From what I can tell, I think if you were to pull this lever here... Stop! Don't touch that! That was practically instantaneous kinesis the way you flew over just now, Gregsy. Please, your ladyship. I didn't mean to startle you, but I can't let you touch anything up here. So sorry, you can have some of my latest special blend to make up for it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Ah, wonderful. This stuff really is wonderful. Just like old times, this is. The Iris theme, very good, yeah. Dun 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 dun. We're representing Professor Harebrayne in court tomorrow, Inspector. So we should be allowed to examine the scene. Ah! Listen, Sunshine, even I'm not allowed to touch anything up here. It's that blasted Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act to blame. It's driving me putty. Oh yes, that's Special Dispensation. The Professor mentioned that too. More red tape's all we need. I don't know what the government thinks it's playing at sometimes. But we're allowed to just look, aren't we? Hey! Surely that's alright, isn't it, Gregsy? Of course, your ladyship. Anything you say, your ladyship, but please don't get your dainty hands dirty, will you? Don't worry. We wouldn't dream of touching anything, would we, Reno? She really knows how to get what she wants. She's just like Sholmes. Yeah. Government policy. Using high voltage electricity to somehow disassemble a man's body and then beam him across to the Crystal Tower is an extraordinary thing to attempt, especially in public. True, it was by far the most unusual of the experiments planned for the exhibition, mind. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised it was allowed. Carrying out something so dangerous with so many spectators present, I mean. The government's doing everything it can to promote new science and technology at the moment. They're more worried about being ahead of the game than the odd spot of public safety infringements. If they can be the first to develop some new technology, it makes Britain more powerful in the future, you see. Yes, I suppose that's true in a way. So the powers that be are placing a heavy emphasis on scientists' rights at the moment. What sort of rights? They're making it so that any theories the brains have remain their legal property, as it were. Right through developing it into a practical idea and even going into production. Which is the infuriating reason us coppers aren't allowed to touch this crime scene. Because the new high-fallen Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act forbids it. Ah, I see now. The only people with permission to investigate here are from some brand new department at the yard. The Forensic Investigation Team is called. We've been relegated to keeping guard. The Forensic Investigation Team. Any old fool can see this heap of scrap metal is a sham to begin with. But just because it says scientific equipment on the paperwork, we can't do a flaming thing with it. Poor Gregsy. He's very head up, isn't he? Special dispensation. Remind me again, what's this new legal act that means we're not allowed to touch the scene here? Are you having me out of sunshine? It's the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Yes. I think Hurley mentioned that recently, with a real twinkle in his eyes, I remember. I'm sure he did, your ladyship, I'm sure he did. Passed especially for this great exhibition it was. All scientists have to do is present their ideas or inventions to some suits in the civil service. And if it gets rubber stamped, that's a guarantee of rights to maintain the invention's confidentiality. What does that really mean? Think about it. Think of all the world-changing new inventions on display every day at this exhibition. Although a good half of them are a load of cobblers if you ask me, put forward by shammers like yourself. Thanks for that. Oh, I love how absurd some of the inventions here are. It's also fun. Might be fun to you, but a member of the force has to be present at every single demonstration. Can you imagine, eh? Hang science, that's what I say. Gosh damn science. Get it out. Oh, I don't think so. That sounds like my dream job. You'd soon think otherwise after spending a day guarding all these shammers' bogus contraptions. But if they're all bogus, how can anyone hope to demonstrate them? There'd be no point. Yeah, well, there is a point, sadly. Sorry. Thanks to another of our government's bright ideas. If any theory or invention is deemed to show potential, the government hands out a research grant. The scientists get funding? Exactly. And that's what they're all after, all these shammers coming from far and wide to clog up Hyde Park. And who has to keep them all safe, eh? Who has to smile politely and welcome them? Us coppers, that's who. So you can see why I say it now, can't you? Hang science! Hang it! Oh, maybe I can see your point. And Professor Harebrain. Apparently Professor Harebrain lives and works in Germany now, conducting his research. That's right. Came back to Britain especially for the Great Exhibition, as I understand it. Probably after one of the government's research grants. Actually, we learned something else about Professor earlier today. About his time in further education. It turns out he was at university with someone we both know. Lord Van Zieks. Hey, what's that? That's news to me. But if Van Zieks mounts the prosecution, then, as the accused, the Professor's fate is sealed. Because the Reaper will get him one way or another. Blimey, that man's beyond me. I don't know what goes on in that head of his. The chips? No. Talking of Van Zieks, this morning's paper ran the story of him being attacked. Read that? Oh yes, but Mr. Reaper is completely fine. Nothing to worry about. Yes, right. Glad to hear it. Still, the Reaper, huh? How long's that business gonna keep up, I wonder? The mystery of the Reaper. The victim of this case, the investor, Mr. Asman. He was another of the Reaper's victims, or so I heard. Lord Barak Van Zieks is a top-class prosecutor. But even he can't always push the right verdict through. Sometimes justice can't win. Yes. I've heard about jurors being bribed and evidence being falsified. And that's how the notion of the Reaper of the Bailey came about, isn't it? Obviously, Scotland Yard suspected Van Zieks initially. We all assumed he was taking matters into his own hands if he failed to seal the deal in court. Although, the man himself denies that charge. Well, we've done a very thorough investigation. And the conclusion we reached is that Lord Van Zieks is in no way related to the deaths of those people outside the courtroom. There's no question in my mind. I'd stake my reputation on it, I would. But if that's true, then how do you explain it? All those defendants couldn't just have coincidentally died if nobody killed them. I know that, but I can't explain it. It's a mystery after all, isn't it? That's the whole point of the Reaper. Professor Harebrain mentioned something else. He said that at university, Lord Van Zieks was a totally different person. Easygoing and kind. You what? He said that it was after they both graduated that something happened to change the man. Do you have any idea what it was? No clue. Really? Look, I've got my hands full watching over this frustrating crime scene. Why don't you go and make a nuisance of yourself elsewhere, eh? Just check out the crime scene, I guess. Considering how badly damaged everything is, Professor Harebrayne was lucky to escape unscathed, I'd say. We should have a good look around the machine while we can, I think. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, you hear? I won't touch a thing, I promise, so please, spare a thought for your digestion. Anyway, do you really think this machine could actually disassemble people like the Professor claims? He asks, looking totally incredulous. Give it a rest, sunshine. If we were allowed to examine all this bleeding scrap metal, maybe we could answer that question. But we can't, can we? Because of the annoying rules, you mean? Exactly, the annoying, obstructive, flaming rules. Oh. Look at the base of the machine there. Oh yes, there's a tool of some kind poking through the wire mesh. It's a screwdriver, I think. Oh, isn't it a lovely one? The handle's in the shape of a capital letter A. It is. Oh yes, you're right. What's the matter with you? Don't touch anything, I said. Touch anything, I'll make sure I kill you before I get strung up myself, I said. Yes, I understand. Sorry. I only touched it a teeny weeny bit. But Gregsy, I'm very curious about this screwdriver. Really very, very curious. Of course, your ladyship. You're so clever, your ladyship. Fancy spotting something like this. But I'm afraid I can't let you have it. But Reno found it first. I'll show you. I'll investigate it thoroughly. He's gone off with it. That was very mean. I'm afraid Inspector Gregson's going to make a very clumsy and embarrassing mistake in next month's installment now. Bad character arc, let's go. Per Gregsy. There's not really anything else. There are all sorts of strange buildings here in the Great Exhibition grounds, aren't there? I seem to remember something similar being exhibited in Japan one time. Oh, in your country, Bruno? I do wish I could go and see it. I'd present a particularly steely samurai with a present. Particularly steely samurai. Dun 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 dun. Cool steel samurai, very intrinsic to Ace Attorney lore. Huh? With one of Hurley's stories I'd written especially. See if I couldn't get Hurley into a jam against some Bartitsu master ninjas. You might not find as many of those sorts of people around as you think. Oh, well, that's dull. Oh, but I do know a prosecutor with a Chun Mage top knot I can introduce you to. Oh, a Chun Mage? Really? Chun Mage, right? Do you think I could have my picture taken with him? Do you? The guy from the first case. The guy in Japan. The pain ancestor guy. Assuming he's recovered from the trim Kazuma gave him a year ago, yes. Ferris wheel. Oh, what is that gigantic thing over there? Looks like an enormous water wheel. Oh, that's a Ferris wheel. There'll be people riding inside those little cabins you can see. Why? Well, they rotate nice and slowly, so it's a wonderful way to see the surrounding scenery. Wait, it's turning? But it looks completely still. Yes, that's because it's turning so slowly. One complete revelation takes about half an hour. If you're mad enough to go in one, it'd be more fun to whiz around fast, don't you think? Ugh. No thanks. I feel as though you might have just invented a new sort of ride there, Runo. That makes me think of those ones. Have you ever seen those, like, ones where they're really fucked and they, like, rock like shit? And they're, like, on, like, a track? Oh, those are awful. Fucking Gregson, go ahead. I mean, I clicked by mistake. One's run by people? What do you mean? Aren't they all run by people? Examine the balloons. So those are people carrying balloons, dangling silently in the skies over London. I always thought the day would come when humans would discover how to fly. But I never imagined it would involve them being suspended from colourful, floating Tamari handballs, huh? No electricity or anything? God. I'm sure it must feel amazing being up there among the clouds. Let's take a ride together, Runo, please. If I'm being perfectly honest, I would like to try it. But without a cast iron guarantee that the thing won't plummet to the ground, I'm too scared. Oh well, in that case, I should tell you what Hurley said. It's physically impossible for a flying balloon to plummet to the ground, as long as it doesn't explode. Oh. Yes. Call me crazy, but I think that exploding part might play on my mind a little. Yeesh. I don't think there's anything else I have to see up here. Gregson's back. I want to check out this thing, right? What's that? Ah, it looks as though somebody dropped something behind the tree just here. Dropped or hid. It's like a fucking crossbow. What is this, some part of the machine that exploded? Maybe. It could have fallen from the platform above in the blast, perhaps. What's going on here? Oh, nothing. I think I'll hang on to this just in case. Mine. It's a it has to be a crossbow, right? A very curious device found behind a tree under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds. Almost as if it had been hidden there deliberately. That's where the cove ended up after his instant kinesis or whatever they call it. Dead, of course. And yet they're calling the experiment a success. What's the wooden scaffold there for? The coppers, our lads, set it up after the incident. Yeah, after the incident happened. Get the body down, I think. Don't know really. Didn't you help to erect the scaffold then? Nah, lookout duty is more my thing. Wandering around the exhibition and keeping a lookout for the fun stuff. Mind Gregson doesn't hear you saying that or he'll give you the boot. It's incredible though, isn't it? I mean, could the victim really have bridged that gap by some sort of invisible kinesis? What's that on the ground as well? There's like something green on the ground. No. See the green thing? What's that? Oh look, what's this? A rare piece of cloth? It's not like any fabric I've ever seen before. It's very thick and stiff. Looks extremely durable. It's canvas, I think, with some sort of rubber backing. And the edges appear to be a bit charred as well. Maybe that means that it's something to do with the explosion? Let's make a note of it while Ginny's mid-yawn. Poor Gina, we're just exploiting her newness. Well, I think we got everything. Runo, listen! What is it? I've been thinking. Hurley might know something, mightn't he? About what? But Mr. Reaper. About what happened to Lord Von Zieks, you mean? Because it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. He's in the middle of some big case, isn't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Tussauds? Is this supposed to mean something to me? This is like Madame Tussauds? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. Is it a wax museum? I wonder. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you like. I think Madame Tussauds is actually near Baker Street. Whenever we went to London as a family once, we went to both of them, and I'm pretty sure they were close. Did I ever show you? I bought a... When we went to London, we went to Madame Tussauds. And I wanted to go to Baker Street just because, you know, I like Sherlock Holmes. Now, there's a statue of Sherlock Holmes on Baker Street, and I bought a deer catcher, deer stalker. Deerstalker hat on Baker Street. I don't wear it. But just to say that I bought a Deerstalker on Baker Street was like, you know, I had to do it though. It's up there somewhere. Of course I have. I think it's still there. It's like, there's like a One Piece hat on it at the moment, I think. Let me see. I wore it for the first Ace Attorney 2. I did, that's right. You're right, yeah. I forgot about that. We're back. Let's go. Has to be done now. The audio is like slightly muffled because it's not like directly against my ear, but it doesn't. It's fine. Pretty close to Baker Street, actually. We can go now if you like. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today. We have a big trial tomorrow. That's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? It has to be a wax museum, right? Let's slow down. Yes. How is it you know where he is? Hurley told me. He told me to keep it a secret from you, Runo. Madame Tussauds. I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here, but then stranger things have happened. When they happen, Mr. Sholmes is usually at the heart of it. Off to the Wax Museum. What's this? A torn piece of canvas-like material backed with rubber that was found under the experimentation stage at the exhibition ground. There are scorch marks at the edges. Like a piece of a golf course or something. Looks like layers of thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. I've never seen anything like it before. But applying Mr. Sholmes' methods, you might deduce it was part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet. And the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning. Or maybe not. It looks like something you would find in Lord Strongheart's office, like the gear design to it, doesn't it? Cool though. Right. Putting our bets, this is a museum of interesting waxwork exhibits not far from Baker Street. Let's go. I knew it. I need to get a big giant, like, oversized magnifying glass for these streams, huh? Ping me. Sorry. Let's go. Well, we'll probably wrap up here soon, but I want to just at least see this place. Do they have the Shrek exhibit thing? 22nd October, Madame Tussauds Museum of Waxworks. Jack the Ripper. That was a real person. What is this place? Look at these terrifying scenes, but why are all the people so still? You almost at that date? What date? Guillotines, ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. They're all wax models. They're amazingly realistic, aren't they? These ones are all written. These people are real. What do you think, Bruno? Shocked? Whoa. Wax models? Ah! I read about dead bodies in wax once in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn to wax, apparently. It's called adipocere. What's the 22nd of October? Oh, the date that showed up. Right, okay. Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Anyway, adipocere doesn't form readily, you know. Ah! Didn't see what he said. What now? I just remembered something else I read. In another magazine about strange phenomena. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display. None of the exhibits in here are real. What about them guys, though? They're all entirely man-made replicas. Jesus, son. They can't be. Did you really expect me to believe that? Just look at them. Oh. There's no way anybody can make models of people that are this realistic. That sounds spectacular. And there are all such gruesome scenes. Fuck. Can grab my webcam again. Wait. What is it? Oh. No. I must be seeing things. What the fuck? What's there, a hand? Alright. That's where we're going to leave it for today, I think. That was good fun, though. We're deep now into our episode 3 of 6 or 7, I think, probably. Maybe 6. There's 5 in the first game, so maybe 5 or 6 in this one. So we will pick this up again So I am missing a stream next week. So we're probably only going to have one Ace Attorney stream next week. And it'll probably be on Monday. So I'm sorry, I know. Because we're probably beating Plague Tale next stream. And then I want a stream of Scorn if we're playing that. So if it it comes out tomorrow actually, so I'm gonna find out about Scorn tomorrow, so we'll see. If Scorn is like dirt, then we'll do 2 Ace Attorney. We'll see. But yeah, find it next week, sure. I have a Star Wars podcast, so thank you for watching. What a strange combination. Yeah, Scorn looks really cool. I just hope it actually is good. You hate your fingers, eh? I have Scorn pre-downloaded on Xbox Game Pass and PC. Again, don't have to pay any extra for it apart from the Game Pass price, which is fucking great. So, I hope it's good. But yes, we'll have another stream tomorrow playing some Yakuza 0 or Yakuza O, according to the starting soon screens. So, feel free to come by for that. And we'll pick up Ace Attorney again on Monday. So, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. I'll see you later. Good night. Bye-bye.